Hello everybody, this is Stockers Finance. I'm your host David Scheuer, and let's just get into it. So I literally just hopped off the Tesla earnings call. I was just taking a bunch of notes. I have like 3 pages of notes, and it was pretty good for Tesla bulls. So first off, Tesla's stock price is up about 21% after hours, and its current stock price is at about $306 a share, and its market cap has now passed General Motors and Ford. So Ford after hours, because they had their earnings today too, is actually down 3%. And General Motors after hours is down about 1%. So Tesla's looking very good here, a tremendous increase in their stock price. And honestly, you know, it's well proven. If we look at the earnings per second here, and these are the estimated ones that I'm going to say first. So the analysts estimated that Tesla would have earnings of negative 42 cents per second. And then the actual earnings, get this, was positive $1.91. They destroyed the analyst estimates. They didn't just beat them by a little bit or even a lot. They actually obliterated the analyst estimate as a whole. I mean, it is crazy. So the stock price, as I said, is up 20% after hours, and it's currently about $308 a share. So now let's go ahead and talk about just the rest of the notes that I took. We'll just summarize some stuff that Elon said. I wrote down a bunch of quotes here, and we'll analyze them as well. So let's get into it. So first off, right off the bat here, Elon starts talking to us about some major updates coming. So he talked about full self-driving could potentially come this year. And I think what he said early access, by the way, so not full self-driving to everyone, but the early access, people who are on that program, full self-driving could come. So that means you could literally drive anywhere in your Tesla without having to touch the steering wheel, or I guess technically you have to touch the steering wheel, but the car will drive itself. So that's what full self-driving means, if it wasn't, you know, obvious to you. And so we'll see how this timeline works out. He kind of sounded a little skeptical. I have a feeling that it's going to come a bit later as they need to keep, you know, getting regulators to improve it. I think that's going to be the part that takes the longest amount of time rather than the actual technology. But we'll see what happens. That's just awesome news, not only for Tesla, but just the society as a whole, to have that technology coming out that can not only, you know, create a whole new way of driving, but also a whole new way of transportation and a much safer way of getting around. You know, vehicle deaths and accidents are going to go down substantially when cars start fully transitioning to full self-driving. So then our next big update here was that the Model Y production was moved to summer 2020 from fall 2020. So a whole season change, a whole season earlier now than what it was expected. That's massive. Again, this is on Elon time, and you know, the Elon time can sometimes be a little questionable, obviously, that we've seen in the past, so we'll see what happens here. I've got high hopes, though, and I have a feeling it'll be more towards the end of summer 2020 and right before the start of fall 2020. That's my estimate to when we'll really start to see the Model Y start to roll out, and that's going to be awesome. And then a big thing that Elon said here, after talking about the Model Y production timeline, he talked about how it's going to outsell the Model S, X, and 3 combined. So potentially this could be their highest selling vehicle by a long shot, and that's because Model Y is an SUV, and the SUVs market is so much larger than all the other markets. So technically, yeah, the Model X is an SUV as well, but the Model X is a very luxury car. It's a very, you know, it's a car that, you know, costs a lot of money. It's very bougie. It's more of a show-off car, whereas the Model Y is going to be more of your mom van, your day-to-day driver type car. So now let's go down here. So I got a cool comment during my live stream, because I was live streaming the Tesla quarterly results and the earnings call. And so someone said a $500 Model 3 price increase could add $50 million to the bottom line next quarter. And that was backed up by Elon talking about how we're going to see price increases because of the updates to the software. So they're not actually adding price increases because of, you know, manufacturing is getting more expensive or they're spending money on marketing. It's because they're just simply doing an over-the-air update to their cars and vehicles, or in this case, before you purchase the car, when you can click the optional, you know, full self-driving package. Right now it's like, you know, premium self-driving. I forget what it's called on the website, but it's about $6,000 right now. And if they made it $6,500, that could be an extra $50 million to the bottom line next quarter. So we'll see if that happens. I have a feeling we will see that increase, and that could be a major increase in revenue overall. So next thing, we have the version 3 solar roof coming out, which is going to be awesome. I'm not going to talk about that too much, because we'll talk about solar and the energy sector in a second here. All right, so next up, we returned to profitability this quarter. That is amazing alone. That's all the news I needed to hear, and I would have been happy. But all this extra news is just completely backing it up and making me even more confident in Tesla as a bullish investor, and proving my an original analysis on Tesla that I made a few months back. So anyways, let's go ahead and go through this. So they've also had great progress on improving capital efficiency. They're not wasting as much money. I noticed that the CFO is putting a lot of pressure on not spending too much on like cutting down on expenses. I know I'm rambling a bit here, just my bad. I literally just got off the call, so it's a bit wild right now. Anyways, so yeah, great progress on, getting those costs down and improving our capital efficiency. So then we talked about demand, since this apparently seems to be something that's controversial in the media, saying that Tesla has no demand or no one wants to buy a Tesla. Well, that's not true at all. It's disproven for the 1000th time now that demand is still very strong. They talked about how there's still a massive order of backlogs that continues to grow. So they're still backlogging their orders. They aren't, it's not fully complete yet, and that is a good sign. That means we have too much demand, and too much demand is a great thing if you're trying to sell a product. So then we have as I said, the capacity, or not as I said, but capacity and efficiency has increased significantly as well. After, the production hell a couple years ago, after all that stuff happened, we've seen a massive increase in the efficiency of the Fremont factory, and now I'll talk about the Gigafactory a little bit later. But we're going to see a massive increase in that, and as well as at the Shanghai one. So Gigafactory 3 in Shanghai is already it's all ready for production, which is awesome. The Chinese went ham on that. They built it crazy fast, and that's what happens when you have a communist regime. You can get stuff done quickly, apparently. So next up, now this whole page of notes right here that I have is all about Tesla Solar and Tesla Energy as a whole. So they completely rebalanced the solar. They revamped it a little bit ago, and we saw 50% growth because of that. They launched a new website. You should check it out if you haven't yet. And we saw 50% growth from the previous quarter in the solar sector. So that's massive. They have their solar subscription, which is just in California. There's no long-term contract. Elon was saying it's a no-brainer to do this. It prints money, he was saying, because you're saving so much that you should basically do it, and if it breaks, we'll replace it for free. He said there's no reason not to get solar, and it literally saves you so much that it's like printing money. So yeah, that's just a quote from Elon from the call. All right, so as I said, the subscription has landed in 6 states, not just in California, sorry. And there's, it said people say more are buying it than renting it, since they have the rental service as well on the website, but we'll see what happens there. He was saying you can order solar to your house in less than 1 minute, which is incredible. I mean, just like you can order a car in less than 1 minute, if you just go through the form real quickly, you can now do the same with solar, which is awesome. So they said they're going to see really crazy growth in the solar and energy sector, and he's super excited or to quote him directly here, he said, it's an exciting future for Tesla Energy. We're going to see crazy growth. And then he said, this is a separate topic that he kind of came back to here. So this is separate from Tesla Energy, back to the automotive sector. He said, robotaxi will be the biggest increase in asset value in history. And if it seems like I'm jumping around a lot, that's because I'm just going through my notes as the call went on, and they tended to jump around a little bit from question to question and from different parts there. All right, so now we're going to go and talk about Tesla insurance a little bit, because they really touched on this, and this was a somewhat controversial, but also somewhat, it's a very new thing, a new product that Tesla's working on. And I found the information that they told us in the call to be very intriguing, actually. And not exactly what I expected. I expected Tesla insurance to be another way to make more money, but instead they said, no, our plan is to not try and take all the market share or, destroy our competitors. It's simply to give customers another option and to allow them to have good prices in order to force other competitors to lower their prices too. So they're not trying to wipe out everybody or create some massive insurance conglomerate for EVs. They're simply just going on and giving customers a better option. So that was kind of nice to hear, and I thought that was rather nice of them, I guess. It wasn't just straight, we need to make money with this type of company. So the Tesla insurance is only launched in California. That's what I know I said something was launched in California earlier. This is what I was talking about. Tesla insurance, it's only in California. They said the results are super good so far. They said people will come to Tesla to look for a better price and product, as I explained. And they said they're lined up for a broader U.S. and global release, which will be massive. And they said it's been, as I said, super well received. Now on to the Gigafactory in Shanghai that they touched on here. So they said headwind, and a question was, hey, are headwinds coming for the Shanghai Gigafactory? And, you know, this is because we really saw some difficulty with the Fremont factory and some more difficulty when building the Gigafactory here in Nevada. And basically, they said, listen, there's going to be headwinds that are coming. This happens at every new factory or facility we're going to build. There's just going to be some difficulties. Nothing goes perfectly. But it's not going to go nearly as bad as the production hell at the Fremont factory. We're all ready for production, so the process should go much smoother. That was really reassuring to hear. And to stick with the topic of China here, so the Model 3 in China, they said a question was, could the Model 3 be the most profitable car when sold in China? And I said this is what they said, kind of what I said too. I think yes, because of the lower wages and easier production, etc. And then they said, sorry, it's kind of read my notes here. They said the margin seems about the same as the Fremont factory as of now, but I think it'll probably decrease significantly once they realize how cheap the labor is in China. And just how much more efficient they're going to be since they don't have to revamp their whole system, you know, from messing up or whatever it is with the production hell that they went through there. So I think it's going to go much smoother, and they're going to save a lot more money on that, which will make the margin on the cars much better. All right, anyways. So next up, we're going to talk about just the car as a whole, and he was kind of talking about making the car fun, making the car more of a living space and something that you love. And so I have some quotes here. He said, I want to make the car something fun, entertaining, something that you'll love. And this makes sense because people will spend an average of 3 hours a day in the car. And so he said, what is the most possible amount of fun you can have in a car? And as autonomy comes better, entertainment will also need to improve as well, because you're not going to need to drive. So if you don't need to drive, you're just going to sit there bored. No, if you're driving by yourself and you're just driving to work and you're bored because the car is driving itself, you're now going to be able to play games, watch a movie, do whatever it may be, watch YouTube videos, etc. And so that's going to be very important for keeping the car as a place that you enjoy being in rather than a place that you hate sitting in. And so that's actually really important for Tesla, and I think that's one of the reasons why Tesla has so many loyal followers, because the person who brought this question up about making the car fun and stuff was talking about monetizing that platform. Elon said nothing about monetizing it. He simply said, we want people to love the car and we want to make the car fun. And that is why, I think people love Tesla so much, because they're not just selling out completely. They're making these cars very good. They're, putting quality time into making sure that people love this car. And that's what's important. So, because that'll create loyal customers. Anyways, next up. So we briefly touched on the Tesla truck. I know a lot of people are excited for the Tesla truck. He did say some cool things here, and I'll quote him here. He said, the Tesla truck product will be our best product ever. Now, this is a bold statement here. I think that this statement might come back to bite him a little bit, because the Tesla truck is not supposed to be one that's a mass production car. But I think this is Elon's opinion, and he kind of said, this is my opinion. But this is because I think he thinks the Tesla truck looks awesome and is going to be cool, and he knows that the truck is going to be awesome. And so from his viewpoint, if he was going to buy this car, and he's going to get one, I think this is probably his favorite looking car, since he said it's going to be cyberpunk, military type car. It's going to look very futuristic. So that's why I think he said it'll be the best product ever. I think this is his personal opinion, not saying this is going to be our best product ever because it's going to sell the most and do blah, 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 and have the best stats, etc. Because that's probably not going to be the case with the Tesla truck, and I don't think it's meant to be that at all. All right, we're getting through this here. So now we have Elon more on Tesla and demand and their eventual goal. So this was a really cool statement he made, and he's basically talking about their overall goal, what Tesla aims to achieve, and what they're trying to strive for right now. He said they're aiming for replacing 1% of the global fleet per year. And that means they're basically producing 20 million vehicles per year to replace 1% of the whole, global fleet of cars. That's pretty incredible, and that's a crazy amount of production right there. I mean, obviously we're nowhere close to that right now, but if that happens, that'd probably be amazing, because at that point, we're going to see the whole world. It's not just going to be a few people and, a decent amount of cars switching to EVs. It's going to be everyone switching over to EVs. And we're not only going to improve the environment through that, we're not only going to see full self-driving cars, all over the place, and not just as something we see in sci-fi shows. It's going to be a real thing. and it's just going to be an incredible time for humanity at that point. So good job, Elon. This is an awesome statement to make. And obviously this is Tesla's largest and eventual goal, is to produce that many vehicles and, you know, completely make the world switch to EVs. So yeah, that was a kind of a cool, motivating statement by Elon right there. Now, someone was talking about, and this is kind of a dumb question, honestly, in my opinion, how the Model S and X are, or where did he say this? Oh, he was talking about how the Model Y could cannibalize the Model 3 and the other cars. And this is kind of dumb because, for one, the Model 3 is a completely different car, and Elon talked about this. It's an SUV, and the Model 3 is a sedan. How can they cannibalize each other when they're two separate vehicles? When the Model X came out, it actually improved the sales of the Model S. It didn't cannibalize it because they're two separate vehicles. If he was releasing a newer sedan, let's say he released a Model 4 and it was the new sedan, that will cannibalize the Model 3 because more people are going to want that newer car. Just like when Apple releases a new iPhone, it's going to cannibalize the previous iPhone sales because people want the newest and best thing. But it's a completely different product, different vehicle line here, catering to a whole new audience of people who want SUVs. So it's not going to cannibalize. If anything, it's actually going to increase the Model 3 sales, since people are going to have a broader selection to choose from. And because, you know, people will see the Model Y and be like, oh, I love this car. Let me go look at what else they have. That's what I mean by that. So yeah, that was just kind of a dumb question by someone there, if I'm gonna be honest here, some analyst. Anyways, and I'm sorry if that analyst is watching this somehow and I offended you. I'm sorry, but work on your question a little bit. Anyways, so then he was talking about the Model S and X because someone was asking about their performance in the future, what's the outlook for them, and he was saying we're currently making the Model S and X as nostalgic cars, and they're not going to be as important in the future. Again, I think this question is going to come back to bite him a little bit because people are going to say, oh, the Model S and X don't matter? Wow, your sales are going to drop then, or something like that. But what he meant is they're not going to matter because they are significantly older cars now, and as they make new vehicles and as their lineup, you know, grows, these cars are going to fade into the past as more of relics, more of as, you know, they're still outstanding cars. I mean, the Model S was the best car in history, according to Motor Trend. So these cars are basically, you know, going to be more of the expensive, bougie, kind of the relics and nostalgic cars as we go into the future. And that's absolutely where I see those cars going as well. However, we are seeing a major update coming, and I'll talk about that. So he said that with this update, we'll see a 5% power improvement to the Model 3 and a 3% to the S and X. So he also said that through this update, we'll see faster supercharging for standard range and premium range customers. That's massive. He said the Model S range could move to the high 370s or 380s after the update. So that's massive, obviously. It's a pretty big difference in range there. It's not like a 100-mile difference, but it's definitely a significant difference in efficiency there, which is, I mean, obviously that's a good thing. All right, so let's see what else we have here. All right, so again, just to kind of come back here to solar, at the end here he said that the greatest pockets of growth and energy, and he said that the solar will be the fastest, obviously, but battery technology will follow it in terms of a percentage gain, in terms of growth. And he said that battery and solar technology will probably grow faster than automotive on a percentage basis. And that mainly is because they're smaller already, so for it to grow exponentially is not going to be very difficult, unlike to grow the automotive section first, it's going to be, to grow it at that same pace will be difficult, but to grow the solar, it's going to be probably grow much faster than the automotive. It's also much cheaper, so yeah, for customers to buy. Anyways, I know this was a rambly video. Let me close my notes there. Yeah, literally just got off the earnings call. Guys, this is fantastic for Tesla bulls. Tesla shorts, I am sorry. Anyways, not really, I'm not sorry. But anyways, guys, yeah, great earnings report. That's all I've got to say. Ask me any questions below and I'll respond to them as fast as possible. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm going to have a more, in-depth and slower analysis coming out soon. So subscribe and stay tuned for that. Peace out.